Hi everyone, this is Lara Hammock from the Marvel Jar channel, and in today's video I'll talk about what I don't like about Mint.com, my budgeting program of choice. This is the last of a three-part series on how I use Mint. So in the last two videos I did a quick tutorial on Mint.com, which I use for budgeting, and I talked about what I like about Mint. In this video I'll share what I wish it did better. Let's start with security. So I really wish I didn't have to give my bank account login credentials to Mint. That said, if I want the convenience of having all of my transactions in one place, this is the price that I have to pay. Thankfully, Mint isn't some 2-bit fly-by-night operation. They are owned by Intuit, who also owns TurboTax and Quicken. So they have some experience in keeping data safe. Here's what Intuit says on their website about how they store this data. Login username and passwords are stored securely in a separate database using multi-layered hardware and software encryption. Obviously, after the Equifax breach less than a year ago, we all have reason to be squeamish, but this is an area where I've chosen to trade security for convenience. Budgeting. So one thing that bothers me in the area of budgeting is that although Mint allows you to create new budget categories, you have to do it within their conceptual paradigm. So in other words, you have to pick one of their existing categories to put your new subcategory under. Here's an example. I have a category that's just called Lara. So that's kind of like my discretionary allowance. I can spend it on books, clothes, dining, whatever. Okay, so it doesn't naturally fall into one of Mint's default categories, but I have to pick one anyway, so I somewhat arbitrarily pick financial. So the annoying thing about this is that in the budget screen, Mint insists on sorting your line items by their superordinate category, financial, rather than by Lara, which is what I would prefer. But far more annoying is that you really can't delete any of their default accounts. So that isn't such a big deal on the budget screen. After all, you only see the budgets that you create, and you don't have to create a budget for every one of their categories. But it is annoying when you're trying to apply categories to your transactions, since every single category will come up as an option. So if I'm looking for my category auto all, every default category with auto in the title is going to come up as well, even after I've just used two in budgets. It's not insurmountable, it's just annoying. The other big budgeting drawback for me is that Mint assumes that the budget you are creating shouldn't be retroactive. So it only makes it active in the current month and beyond. So as far as I can tell, there are no ways to edit this. So that means that if you're entering a budget in March and you'd like to see how you've performed against this budget since January, you're totally out of luck. It will only show you March on. Once you get your budget more or less set, this will be less annoying, but it crops up every time I have to make changes to my budget, so at least annually. Search. You would think that there would be a fairly robust search function within Mint. It's actually not terrible on the Mint website, but it drives me nuts that you can't search by note in the transaction. So you remember in last video how I put a note into a transaction that it was for tubing. So if I search for the keyword tubing, nothing comes up because Mint doesn't search on notes at all. I put a lot of information in the notes section, so if I want to find the transaction where I bought our refrigerator, I have to search for Lowe's and then open each transaction individually. So this is actually half the reason that I use the export function, since search is much better in a spreadsheet. Search isn't great on the website, but it is truly awful on their mobile app. In fact, the mobile app has quite a few limitations. Let's talk about them. I really want the mobile app to have a lot more functionality than it currently does. Up until recently, you could opt to use a browser like Safari on your mobile device, and you could go to Mint's website to get full functionality. But they have started forcing you to use the app, which is problematic for me. Here are my issues with it. Search is perfectly awful. You really can't search by amount or by keyword. Instead, it forces you to pick a specific vendor name or category. And for example, if the vendor name is listed in different ways or in different transactions, which is very, very common, it will only show the transactions where you've chosen the exact spelling. It's awful. It's so frustrating to me that I've taken to either exporting everything for mobile search purposes, or I just wait until I can get in front of a computer. Transactions. Edits to transactions, like changing vendor name or category, don't always stick. So sometimes you have to go back and redo them. And I cannot figure out why some take and others don't. It's a mystery to me. Also, you can do most of the transactions edits in your mobile app, but you can't apply if-then rules, only on the desktop. Budget. For whatever reason, the Mint app only allows you to see the budget in the current month. You can't see last month, you can't see the full year, only this month. I find that maddening. And export. Export only works from the website, not from the app at all. So you can see I have some complaints, but I haven't found a better option yet, and I'm pretty happy with the convenience and functionality that Mint provides, so I plan to continue to be a Mint user, and I just hope that they address some of the drawbacks. Let me know what you think. Comments are always appreciated, and thanks for watching.